afternoon to you all. I'm Daniel Miller and this is our daily news bulletin for Thursday, 7th of January of 2021. Welcome to our channel, welcome to our news, and indeed thank you for supporting it right from the beginning. And I also want to thank everyone for sending us your messages of support and also some messages with feedback, which is what I've been asking during the last few days, because as you know, we have restructured the format of this channel, and I've been very curious to see from the viewers and participants basically to hear from from everyone on their thoughts in respect of the changes, and thank you for that. I've had a few messages coming in overnight in addition to those early in the week, and we've spent already 3 sessions of our news bulletin this week literally engaging with the community and talking about some of the questions and concerns and indeed some suggestions. All of that has been greatly appreciated, so I really thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking time to write and to express your views. This community here is entirely based on the content provided by the participants, and I'm blessed to have that many people coming in from various gaming communities that include Destiny, Warzone, Call of Duty, Apex, PUBG, Elder Scrolls, Mass Effect, and the list just goes on and on and on and on. The Division, I forgot, and all the other games we stream here over the years. And so thank you very much for being a kind and an active participant, and really an ambassador for ethical gaming, because really what we do here, particularly on Xbox, is as Xbox ambassadors, we want to really engage with everybody who is dedicated to basically the provision of very safe environment for everyone to be a very inclusive, very open environment where in a civilized manner we can talk about everything, games and other matters related. And that's exactly what this channel represents, so thank you for that. And I think today we'll throw in a bit of a difference compared to the last few days. We'll start with the news, and that's going to be the industry news, because we are getting a trickle of some of the information coming in towards the end of this week. It was Epiphany yesterday and lots of places were closed until today, so the major bulk of news will be coming along literally from today on, and we are getting some information on various other games that are expected and a few other tweaks which will apply to the existing ones. So let's have a look at what's come to us on the wires, right? So first of all, if you are interested in the industry news overall, I would most highly recommend everyone to join my Twitter, because the Twitter is DRBMiller Gaming Dialogue Twitter is dedicated to anything that's happening in the gaming community out there, and that comprises both the industry professionals, the big entities, corporations, the developers, as well as our community participants. Many of my streamer friends, many of my contacts are out there frequently. They send some messages indicating that they're supporting the channel or they want to engage in some discussion, and most times really they are just sending me an info indicating that this was the stream, this is what they're doing at the moment. So definitely have a look. I did repost a few from people who are doing Apex, PUBG, Call of Duty and Destiny in the course of the last 48 hours, and these are some very good streamers, people who are very dedicated not just to the actual high quality content like what we do here with the community and industry participation, but they're also looking at cosplay, right? So you have streamers who are providing it with a lot of fun live online, inclusive of the costumes which represent some of the characters from the game that they are actually currently playing. And those games most frequently are Overwatch and PUBG and Apex. I think Apex probably tops it. I have seen more Apex cosplayers doing the postings and Twitch streams compared to others, maybe within my own community, so you have to really take this perhaps with a pinch of salt, but I keep getting information indicating that people really enjoy getting dressed up as Wraith or all the other characters, Bangalore for instance, and they want to really talk to the viewers and the participants in that outfit and then crack on with some fierce activities. It's really funny because if you are for instance playing Bangalore or Wraith at all times, suddenly you are talking to this person and it changes perspective on what you actually do live online, and that's very popular. Okay, so that's very popular, and these are streamers I really like, so really thumbs up and lots of brownie points, and I want everyone to support them. You'll find a few on my Twitter. So let's have a look at the news, what's come to us today, well I should say during the last couple of days. And stand corrected. What's come to us since yesterday? Because we have our daily news bulletin, so I'm never going to be repeating some of the news which was said 2-3 days ago. Although some news will persist, they'll keep coming back, and that is because we are hotly anticipating a particular game, or there is a debate about something that indeed has taken place, like for instance most recently all of those debates on Cyberpunk, and you will be more than familiar with the difficulties and the dilemmas that the gaming community is facing, inclusive of the members of the development team. So the first bit of news we had was related to Wasteland developer In Exile. If you're familiar, they had produced quite a number of fantastic games, and Wasteland 3 is one of the best strategy games, turn-based strategy games that we played over many years. And for all of us Xbox Ultimate subscribers, it's very easy to try the game. You just download it off your Game Pass and you can crack on, and you have also the original and the sequel as well. So really I'd like to invite everyone to try the game. I know that some RPG veterans are not that keen on turn-based strategy games, but I have to tell you, these games are no longer the same like 10-15 years ago. You have an unbelievable story usually attached to turn-based strategy, with loads of different activities and a wonderful group of characters that you are going to be exploring, and that itself is truly wonderful, and you will not be depleted of interesting or exciting activity literally throughout. So I most highly recommend everyone to try any of those. XCOM and Gears Tactics, as well as Wasteland 3 would be my kind of top 3 at the moment if you are attempting to test the waters, and you will not be disappointed. So just crack on and have a look. So let's see what's coming from IGN in respect of In Exile. We've heard that they are considering another FPS RPG, so they are stating that on their new job listings. Spotted by Twisted Voxel, the studio's open positions such as lead gameplay engineer mentioned that applicants will be working on In Exile's next-gen action role-playing game, implementing the new first-person shooter gameplay features. So the senior gameplay designer position talks about the creation of powerful, tactile, first-person weapons and unique combat abilities that draw the player right into the middle of the action, and all but confirming that In Exile's project will be an first-person shooter RPG similar to the likes of Cyberpunk or Deus Ex. One of those will do, and I love that game. Honestly, it is like a sci-fi with a twist, and very similar to Cyberpunk, in fact. So definitely very, very good news coming out of In Exile. IGN reporting today, and we are very excited about it. So we got some news from Push Square telling us that King of Fighters 14 Ultimate Edition includes all DLCs. It's out now on PS4 in Europe, and all the games offered on the novel streaming engines are absolutely terrific, and I think EA and PlayStation are a bit frosty on delivering the brand new titles, particularly the exclusives, immediately on their release date, but Xbox is obviously excelling in that compartment, and we are getting everything on the day of its release. In fact, sometimes even we get it with preloads a couple of days earlier, and that in itself is a true joy, and I've really enjoyed absolutely all the games that the Microsoft had been offering to us over the last few years. And like Gears of War 5 Ultimate Edition, if you're a subscriber, you get it on the first day, and you can play everything, with all the add-ons and DLCs and costumes and skins, cosmetics, you name it. So absolutely terrific. I really wish that the others would look up to Microsoft and do exactly the same, because this is the new industry standards. I think if PlayStation are not adhering to the new rules, they will be losing out on a great number of participants, and I think Microsoft are investing a lot more in the streaming services compared to PlayStation, and you could really see, well, also there is a quality difference, because they own the servers, and all the games that are being downloaded are performing perfectly. You don't have any glitches or any lag or anything, whilst on PlayStation services it is quite down to the developer. And I did play some games that really performed very badly and had to discontinue because there was a massive frame rate drop and other technical issues, and that specifically applied to the games of the older gen, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, particularly PlayStation 3, I have to say. Like Two Towers I really liked, and it was almost unplayable because of the lag and all other kinds of issues, many glitches, and obviously you can tell the game was not properly tailored to PS4 use, and also not for the streaming services as it should be, and so that's disappointing. And if you really like myself, you like the gaming archaeology, what you'll do is you'll try any games that appear to be interesting, and you may be just hitting it off, on the wrong footing, and therefore coming across a game that's not performing, which is not the case with the vast majority. I've played several hundred games on PlayStation Now services, and the vast majority performed perfectly. But there is this but in there, it doesn't have the standardized use of their service, and they're not in possession of the service either. And I think this is also obviously a major concern in the longer run if you are to be looking at feasibility of such service. PlayStation now offer very many titles, more than 700, and compared to Xbox Game Pass, which is currently with the inclusion of EA what's it called, the EA Play, you get up to about 200 titles. So there's a difference in sheer numbers, and the model is somewhat different. And I have to say that PlayStation Now services have been tailored, I guess, aligned to some of the concepts that Game Pass is introducing, particularly with AAA blockbuster introductions. The only thing is they keep offering those blockbusters on a very, very short period of time, on a sort of very short time span, and therefore you need to make sure that you play them immediately. Otherwise you'll start out on a game and then the game will be gone. And that's happened to me about 2 or 3 games, because to be fair, they indicate what the last or the end date is going to be. So if you are checking the titles, you can just put them in your diary and plan accordingly. But I think for us that do Twitch streams, we have a very, very limited kind of quantity of time available for all the other games which are outside of our broadcasts. And think about it, somebody will spend 4 or 5 hours playing a variety of different games whilst we're doing just one game and doing our broadcast. So it's just basically it's just the way things are. And therefore you need to do some serious planning. And they also said they will not be introducing any exclusives on the first day of their release, which means they will not follow the model offered by Xbox. And they said that they felt this was not financially feasible for them, and they had many other reasons for this. It's possible. It all depends on how you do your marketing and how you bring people in, and also it is very much dependent on trends, because if you go against a very strong, serious trend, like for instance in recent months, last couple of years, we had Battle Royale emerging as the major trend. So if you're a developer who is going against this trend, you have a lot of difficulty, because you've seen that games like Gears of War were introducing Battle Royale, or Call of Duty, because of its sheer popularity. And as you've seen with Warzone, it's the most popular game on the planet at the moment. Everybody and anybody wants to step in, become part of one of the squads, and then crack on with some serious action. There are many reasons as to why that is, but it's been just beautifully integrated within the world of Call of Duty. And I would say, if you're looking at the franchise of the last 10 years, this has been probably the most successful product they delivered ever. And they certainly can be very, very happy about it, because it's just the way it is. It's high quality, very, very big, tactical military simulation map. Everyone can learn the strategy and join in either randomly or with a crew, and then play as long as they want. And every single game is a different experience, because it's all down to who you're gonna face there in the field. And on the other hand, the frame rate is absolutely terrific. You have no problems with major motion, running, or anything speedy compared to some of the other games, and it doesn't have any other technical issues at all. So absolutely tip top. Coming back to King of Fighters 14 Ultimate Edition, it includes all DLCs. It's out on PlayStation 4. So SNK has gone ahead and announced King of Fighters 14 Ultimate Edition. That's for PS4, available digitally through the PlayStation Store. This edition of the 2016 Brawler includes all the DLC characters and costumes that were released post-launch. That is 8 new fighters for a total of 58 and 10 outfits. It It also comes with 10 different PS4 themes. It's absolutely terrific. If you are in awe of the game, you're getting all the goodies in one bag. Ultimate Edition is available now in Europe, priced $32.99 or €39.99. It releases in North America a bit later. So that's very, very good news, and thank you to Push Square for bringing it to our attention. Apex Legends Season 8 League reveals anniversary event. So let me see what they said. So the new season is already around the corner, and for all of us Apex Legends veterans, it's quite incredible to see that we already down to Season 8, and I still remember the original game, and all we did, my lengthiest stream ever was on that, during that first week, and it was obviously with Apex Legends after it got released, and I participated with its promotion. It was all done through Twitch and YouTube streamers, so I had a stream that was lasting almost 34 hours, and it was just absolutely extraordinary. It's not something I ever do, and it just turned out this way because of the sheer number of wonderful teams that participated, and we had, it's like a real big buzz emerging from around the globe. It was so easy to bring in Battlefield and PUBG veterans to join us, and that session was just a true delight with so many great games and a lot of good fun. And also the map was a mixture of tactical and deathmatch, therefore it was very much dependent on what team you kind of joined, and it depended on your tactics and strategies. If you were doing the usual, like with PUBG, sitting on the side, doing the circle, you were obviously staying alive for quite a while. You get down to the last 5, and you were obviously competing with a number of other gamers who were trying to get in order to get the best possible, the high quality loot, and quite frankly that resulted in many deaths immediately, as it always does. So if you are a gamer in Apex or in any other Battle Royale game, just remember, dropping in for the hottest loot will require a lot of skill, and you will need your permanent team fully on board in order to contest all the other participants. You will face probably anything between half to 1 dozen teams, just basically trying to get all the loot at the same time. Lots of firefights, lots of deaths, and therefore early eliminations, and that's not going to give you the best XPs. You're not going to be leveling up, and it will provide you with a bitter taste. So a very good idea if you want to play Apex, PUBG or Warzone, to study some of the other guys, some of the other squads, find out how they do it, what they do, and what tactics they deploy. In fact, if you watched our stream of Warzone, then you would have seen that depending on the number of my own regiment members, we'll have a different strategy. If you have 2 Charlie players with us, we'll go for a more aggressive approach with grabbing the contracts immediately. If you have 3 Delta players, we'll go for an easy laid-back approach with doing the circle. So it just depends on the squad, depends on your style, but you will need to be strategizing at all times. It's very important to have a strategic mind. Warzone is not about kind of a thumb crash, wallop, bang bang. It is all about massive team effort, and our regiment is called Teamwork, Buybacks and Comms, and that tells you exactly that everything we do, we actually complete through a maximum team effort every single time, every single game, be it a good game with lengthy survival or a poor one where we die early, but everything is down to the team effort. And I'm pleased to say that yesterday I had my first big win in Call of Duty Warzone, and that was in quads. Of course, we play quads here on Twitch because quads are a 4-man team, and therefore we are trying to attract the greatest number of new community participants. And obviously it does require a lot more thinking, a lot more effort, a lot more tactics and strategies. It's a lot more difficult compared to when you are tackling solo players, and it was a true delight. So I was very, very happy, and I thank my team for the maximum joint squaddy effort, and bringing us to that fantastically rewarding position of the winner, because people are not winning many matches, and there are many participants in there. Everybody is contesting it, so you get your wins very, very rarely, and this was one of those days. And you know what, it was the best possible win because we won it as I was out of ammunition. It was down to our Charlie team player Ben, who was able to eliminate 2 other teams right at the end, and it was just incredible. But you know, such is life. The other guys were very, very unhappy. They were tactical, they were well positioned, but Ben was really making sure that they were all gone. So therefore I had my first win in the bag. Back to Apex Legends. Apex Legends is a gift that keeps on giving to its fans. The Flight Night Collection event for Apex Legends kicked off yesterday, and with it came meta changes, new items to unlock, a new limited time game mode, and more. Well, you know, that's interesting. I've not gone in yesterday and I have a look. Apex Legends that I have is on PlayStation, and I'm really very kind of seriously leveled up, played a lot in the first couple of months. I'm not really participated that much in consecutive seasons, but I've gone in every single month to have a look and explore the additions. But what they did is they worked on this new model where you're getting constantly something, either new quests or tasks, or you know, like kind of your daily chores. And it's very good because you are first of all keeping people busy, you're making them work hard, and you're getting appropriate rewards for all of that work. And in addition, you're branching out to all the other members of Apex community who perhaps were idle or doing some other games, and so it's very, very good. And I'm personally very pleased with the way they evolved the game, because initially it performed very well on the community front, but actually technically it was very poor. Hit ratio was poor, and we had a lot of lag and crashes and all sorts. And today if you enter, it's a different map, and you know, it's running very smoothly. All the inventory and weapon collection is fully automated. It's very easy to use, and the original system, which was similar to Titanfall, was replaced and adjusted. All of that down to the community input. So absolutely 10 out of 10, and big thumbs up to Respawn. So we heard that some players are already looking to next season of Apex Legends, and specifically even the next collection event. Season 8 of Apex Legends will add some requested features, and it begins in only a few weeks, so that will be what, the end of this month. In looking into what may be right around the corner, the players of the Battle Royale, one data miner found that the next collection event could have a substantial new change. Instead of a brand new heirloom, this time the game may simply hand players 15 heirloom shards, allowing them to select whatever they actually wanted. So that sounds very good. And they said usually each new collection event introduces a brand new heirloom. In the case of the Flight Night collection, Gibraltar's heirloom in Apex Legends is what was just unveiled. Well, Gibraltar's not my favorite character, so unlocking the item is not so simple. To get the extremely rare item, players must purchase every item from the limited time collection event. The total comes out around $160 US. Well, I can tell you one thing, I'm definitely not going to be doing this, because this is how Apex Legends developer is monetizing on the game. I'll be doing the usual in-game currency and then getting whatever is possible. So that means that the Gentle Giants Battle Club is not at all that cheap. In the case of Season 8, if the data mine is correct, the end result of the same general $160 payout would result in 150 heirloom shards, and which means that players can select any of the previous heirlooms, like Octane's Butterfly Live heirloom. Well, I have to stress that this is a speculation. This is not something that Respawn confirmed, so I'm taking it with a pinch of salt. Lilithy is sending us some pictures of her gifts, so thank you, Lilithy, for that. And it looks like oh no, I'm actually mistaken, she is dishing out the gifts, and the gifts have gone to some of her community members, and the pictures are lovely, beautifully displayed on our Twitter. So you can see that there is a box which is called PUBG Survival Pack. Then you have a t-shirt, you have badges, you have various other bits and pieces, stickers in there. Looks like a really absolutely wonderful pack. Lilithy is a pro PUBG streamer. She's partnered both with PUBG and with Twitch, and she does get a lot of gifts from the developer. So if you're interested in acquiring some of these, then you got to be watching her stream and participating in her broadcasts, and you'll be able to get in. And you know, she runs various types of competitions in order to dish out some of those gifts. So Lilithy, and PUBG is definitely going to be of interest to you if you're a dedicated veteran of that battle royale. So I highly recommend her channel, and I've watched lots of her matches, and she is unbelievably fast, plays it on PC, and if you want to have a top-notch Charlie team player and also a great streamer, then you can approach her. So Lilithy, remember that, and you can find all the details on my Twitter. Ashley is another streamer who is also playing PUBG, and she had sent us a very nice video of I think the final section of the game, where in fact she won it. So yet again, recommend Ashley as well. We've heard that Dishonored co-creator Harvey Smith is working on a new project, and we're curious to see what this project is going to be. The new game comes from the team who made Prey and Dishonored. Well, Prey and Dishonored, we can't ask for more. These are absolutely terrific Bethesda games, and we absolutely love both of these. And he also worked on many other games in the past. Arcane Austin director Harvey Smith has confirmed he's working on an unannounced game alongside Dishonored and Prey developers at Arcane Austin. In an interview with Spanish site Vandal, he mentioned he'd returned to Arcane Austin after a 4-year stint with Arcane Leon for Dishonored 2. When asked if that meant he was not working on upcoming release Deathloop, Smith said he was not, but he was instead on something else, and he couldn't tell anybody else what that was. And he's working together with the guys who also worked on Dishonored and Prey. Smith didn't say much more, giving no details on what the next project is, so it could be just about anything. That's good news. We want to see more of that. So we've heard that there's 20% off Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Hitman 3, Immortals Phoenix Rising and more, says Eurogamer. And I believe that is on PlayStation. Let me see. Did anyone watch that wonderful presentation yesterday? I was asking everyone to pop in and have a look. It was at 3:30. And if you did, then send us some tweets. Let us know whether you liked it or not. I really like Eurogamer, and I support the hub literally every single day. Love the news. This is an online magazine dedicated to video gaming, which appears to be also educated and serious, and they really are providing a lot of information in a kind of text-based format rather than with fancy graphics, adverts and trailers, and therefore we can always soak up the very best of that information, get knowledgeable and get to know exactly what's happening in the industry. So they said, oh, it's through eBay. Oh, look at that. This isn't your first rodeo. You'll be very familiar with the eBay stores that are eligible for the discount code, namely it's Boss Deals, the Game Collection, and Shop 2. Of course, there's a variety of tech, clothing, homeware, and other retailers all featured in the promotion. If something that isn't video games would be taking your fancy. So let's see, they're offering. You need to enter the code PACKUP20 at the checkout in order to get the prices. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, that's quite good. Instead of $35.99, you're paying $31.99. Watch Dogs, $27.99. Immortals Phoenix Rising, $26.39. Hitman 3, $39.88. 42.28. Oh no, I beg your pardon. I'm just reading out the prices for various platforms. So these are the prices that you will get. So we're looking at PS4. $27.99 Watch Dogs, $35.99 Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Immortals Phoenix Rising, $26.39 Hitman 3, $39.88, Morales is $47.99, The Last of Us Part 2, $25.59. That's quite good. The price has gone down by about £10 or something, £15. Ghost of Tsushima, $34.39. Sekiro, $28.76. Well, these two games I definitely want to be having and playing, Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us 2, but I will be waiting for those prices to drop, as always. The Mirage Voyage ship is apparently hiding underneath an Apex Legends map. We hear that from Games Radar. So they're telling us that there are some interesting explorative areas of the map. Mirage Voyage could be making a return very soon. An Apex Legends data miner has uncovered what appears to be none other than the Mirage Voyage ship hiding underneath the Kings Canyon map. So, if you were looking at the article, you'll be able to see the data mine details from regular sleuth Shrugtel, who has a storied history of digging up information on Apex Legends before it is actually announced by Respawn, the developer. This time, the data miner appears to have found the Mirage Voyage ship hiding underneath the Kings Canyon map, right above the remnants of the ruined Skull Town, which was blown to bits back when Loba was introduced to the game last year. So if you're unfamiliar with the Mirage Voyage ship in Apex Legends, it was a point of interest previously seen on the World's Edge map near the end of 2019, introducing during the first Holobash limited time event. It's basically a very egocentric party barge for Mirage, and quickly became a hot point of player activity after launching from the dropship at the beginning of a match. As Shrugtel points out in the tweet above, this is a similar situation to how the UFO was data mined back in Season 5 of Apex Legends. Previously, data miners discovered a UFO in the game, which ended up becoming a point of interest on the new Olympus map, which was added to Respawn's game earlier in the current Season 7. Well, I have to say, this sort of archaeology and type of exploration is very rewarding, because if you are a dedicated veteran of that game and you're discovering things that nobody else has seen before and then sharing them on Twitter, you are certainly providing us with very, very valuable information. And secondly, you are building your own community. You're bringing something out to the world that everybody else is not familiar with. So absolutely 10 out of 10 for that. Really happy to hear that people are doing it, and delighted to discover that Apex is providing us with these kinds of niceties. I was personally unaware of this up to the point when I read this article, which is just literally right now. So we have another article from Eurogamer indicating, is Bethesda teasing Hammersfell as the Elder Scrolls 6 location? Well, that's been floating around for a while, and I think that just hitting a nail on the head. It's to do with some of the information that was circulated recently. But you know what? It looks like they have to delete the posting. I can't get the information for some reason. I saw it early on today. Well, you will know full well that the tricky thing there is, if you are releasing information which is not fully verified, then you may be in for a lot of trouble. But no, I actually got the article, it just didn't want to load quick enough. So the official Elder Scrolls Twitter account has tweeted something. So is this a tease or a clue? Is it a reference to another mobile game or Elder Scrolls Online expansion? Well, it's obviously a speculation. And let's start at the beginning. The tweet in question is this, posted at 4 p.m. on New Year's Eve. Transcribe the past and map the future. Here's to a happy new year. So the image attached is a picture of the seemingly standard map of Skyrim, with 3 conspicuously positioned candles, some wood, some rock, some fern branches, and a cluster of curious looking coins on top of what appears to be a leather-bound book. Cryptic, and to most fans, a big old tease of what to expect from the Elder Scrolls 6. The vast majority of responses take it to mean just one thing, and one thing alone. The next Elder Scrolls game will be set in Hammersfell. Well, let's find out. Let's wait and see, I would say. So we had a message from Unaleska, and Unaleska is a streamer and a gamer who likes playing RPGs, and she told us that after all stand for our worldwide anthem. I finished Dragon Quest XI's Definitive Edition today. But that's terrific. I'm still playing it. It's a massive big RPG. It'll take you a long while to get through all the content. And it's great to see that Unaleska completed. I actually wondered about the overall number of hours spent on it, and couldn't really work out from the message whether it was 50 or 350 or 1050. It'd be quite interesting to find out. You have lots of quests and lots of tasks in there. A very big open world with lots of hidden corners and treats. Also a game that really reminds me of Zelda. I talked about the game with my squad and other friends here online, and they all said, after looking at the trailer and a few screenshots that I sent to them, well, they said, this is very much like your Nintendo oldies, golden oldies, and I think, yeah, that's just what it is. But for myself, Dragon Quest 11 is very similar to the 1970s, 1980s Japanese animated films, and it's a bit like walking into one of those films and then becoming an active participant. And I watched lots of those when I was a child, and really loved them. Really, it was my treat of the week watching one of those. So I really kind of look forward to completing the game. Really, I'm doing it not on my broadcast, but elsewhere, and I'll be probably streaming it at some point here on the channel as well. CD Projekt Red denies the claim that large portions of cut content will be returned to Cyberpunk 2077. Well, there's been lots of rumors floating around as far as the developer is concerned, and it's in response to all the troubles with the tech side of things in Cyberpunk on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and I feel for them. It's been long labor of love, many years in making, and all efforts really put across, and then things backfiring. I personally can't tell you what the main reason is. It looks likely that it's just lack of funds. They didn't have many enough human resources or the tech that could make an easy and smooth transition from the old gen to the new gen, and obviously the developers and publishers like Ubisoft will have a great muscle and a lot more prevalence when it comes to that, because the capital, the global domination and human resources which they have on their disposal. CD Projekt Red is still a small company, and with this game they're trying to break through another level, and I think what's happened is the worst possible for that sort of company, and I wish them all well, and certainly hope that all the issues will be resolved painlessly as quickly as possible, because if the game begins to work in a few weeks and all the patches are being appropriately applied to all platforms, then every punter will be greatly happy and excited and elated, and simply all of those complaints will fizzle away. I want to actually raise another issue that we have seen recently, and these were the negative comments on Metacritic after The Last of Us 2 was released, and they said they had an unbelievably bad rating during the first couple of weeks, that one of the worst ratings of all games ever since they began with the website, and it was just purely malicious. It was malicious, and it was ill-conceived and unfounded. So, it does happen. In this instance we have technical problems, but people need to be a bit more understanding, and they will resolve these issues. These games will begin to work. I understand the frustration. You invested 70, 80 pounds, you bought that special edition and doesn't want to work on your PlayStation. But I did have some messages coming in during the last 2 or 3 days from people who played Cyberpunk on PlayStation 4, and they said despite the full troubles with the tech side of things, they managed to complete the game, and they loved it. I thought it was just absolutely amazing. So it did take a bit of time and effort, but the tech problems were not affecting the overall in-game experience, purely in terms of the missions, the campaigns, the story, and everything else. So let's see. They say the post, which originally appeared a few weeks ago, made sweeping claims about an overhaul of the game, says PC Gamer. CD Projekt Red has officially denied statements from somebody who claimed to be a Cyberpunk developer. Again, you can see somebody who's absolutely not connected with the company throwing in dirt and coming up with litigious, malicious comments, and said amongst other things that the major overhaul of the game is in the works and could be ready for release sometime in June, which is obviously not the case. The supposed developer wrote that a significant chunk of the game code has already been rewritten, and that large portions of cut content will be returned. You'd be amazed how much is already done. That cut content, so people would finish the main quest, was just complete nonsense, the post says, etc, etc. Most apartments with closed indications used to be lootable, and we've scrapped 50,000 plus lines of dialogue, and believe the June update will bring a whole lot of cut content back into the game. And these obviously claims were entirely unverified, and but they carried an air of legitimacy, in part due to earlier statements by senior level designer Miles Tost, who said in October 2020 that cutting features and scope is a very normal part of development. But that's obviously, it's the very basics. If you're working on a game, you will be producing an unbelievable amount of content, and you'll be selecting the best to go in, and the rest will stay on the floor. And it's just the way it is. It's part and parcel when you make television series or films. I mean, just people need to wake up and realize that it's not about destroying the game, it's about providing the very best content. So, and sometimes I have to say I'm an avid fan of director's special editions, and frequently I watch what's been cut out, what didn't go into the film, and you realize immediately this was the best possible decision, because had this gone in, it would have ruined the whole film and the overall experience. Just watch films like Prometheus or Escape from New York, for instance. They had the whole prologue in Escape from New York was cut out, and the film becomes much more of a real life, kind of present day and age, in the here, in the now experience without it. And the whole big section there was like massive. The same thing applies to Halloween. There's a lengthy sequence which hasn't been included in the film, where you have like a parole hearing for Michael Myers and Donald Pleasence attending it. It's like a lengthy sequence that would just spoil the overall experience of the film. So, as you could see, sometimes these decisions are both right and appropriate, and they better the product. So I don't really take on board anything from what these guys are saying on Twitter elsewhere. And it's so easy to make assumptions, and we all like speculating, we all like fantasizing, and I think the overall intention is to fuel the interest for a particular game, like we've heard about Elder Scrolls, the map being posted there from Skyrim. Maybe this is what's going to be happening. Well, maybe. But then you may be building up expectations which are unrealistic, and therefore you can be misleading the entire gaming community. I mean, leave those speculations to every single individual, and allow these developers to tell you the truth. I mean, that's just the way it needs to be. I mean, obviously, I like speculating, I like thinking about what I personally would prefer in a particular game, but that's my own personal preference. Whether it will develop, is a different matter. But on the other hand, to be fair, if you have a game in development that will be released in a couple of years, and if you get some sort of major debate on what needs to be included, then you are also likely to be facing an anticipation that perhaps the community can be influencing the developer to create certain content that otherwise will not be considered. And that's very good and positive. That's what you would call a proper community participation, and you get a full interactivity going straight away. So just bear with me a second. Right, so that's yet another speculation. AMD's Ryzen 5 5600X is back in stock in the UK. Rock Paper Shotgun tells us. So if you're interested, you can just have a look, and you will be familiar with this headset. It cost £280. So let me see. I do apologize. Why on earth was I thinking about a headset? I'll tell you why. Because the picture in there looks like a headset. They have a picture of the processor. Ryzen produces processors for PCs, and they're the best ones on the planet. And there's a picture of a headset next to it. It says, what's the idea behind that? It's just ridiculous, so misleading, because I thought it was another product that they were throwing in together with the processor. Anyway, of course it is one of the best processors in there. Cost you £280. So the 6-core Ryzen 5600X is easily the standard CPU and of AMD's new crop of Ryzen 5000 processors, offering nigh identical gaming performance across all resolutions as the more expensive Ryzen 7 5800X, and the other ones are also it's quite a bit faster than Intel Core i5 and much more powerful, a lot more powerful and efficient to boot. So it's a great choice for new PC builders. It's currently, they said, the CPU of choice. That's the Rock Paper Shotgun. Well, as I'm presently not doing anything on my PC, I will not be purchasing it. But certainly, if you're an avid PC gamer, you need to have one of those Ryzen processors, and that indeed will be to your true delight. We have here some photographs coming our way from Ella Drella, and she is Drella Sun, streamer on Twitch, and she's also a cosplayer, but she's one of those broadcasters who does certain games and then dresses up as one of the lead characters, and like I described earlier with Apex, and you can see some of the photographs of Differ, and they look really good because she is there wearing a costume, and she is indeed very much in the business, I should say in the driving seat. So I can recommend her channel as well. If the update is Call of Duty Warzone players do not think the nerf to the DMR is enough. Actually, I think I agree. We had our gaming session yesterday afternoon, and we were approached by some of the guys with a weapon, and immediately we were all obliterated. So we didn't think that this nerfing and tweaking and adapting and the work done on this weapon was doing any good at all. And that's exactly what our experience of it yesterday was. And we are not alone, because we can see through Games Radar there were other people who were sharing the same view. So the tweaks of 2 of Call of Duty Warzone most powerful guns dropped last night. I'm not sure at what time though, because it was last night US time, then that probably would have bypassed us. But players do not think that they've gone far enough. So the DMR nerf patch went live last night, but the impact of those changes seems to be really minimal. So in a tweet yesterday, Raven Software said that it had reduced headshot damage and increased recoil of the DMR-14 and decreased the headshot multiplier of the Mac-10. According to several people on Reddit and Twitter, the tweaks to the DMR recoil, one of its most controversial features, are not as effective as many had hoped. In a clip shared to Twitter, streamer John Sparrows showed himself checking the gun immediately after downloading the patch, and after firing for several seconds he told his audience that there is no recoil on this gun at all, nothing at all. So if the update is already live, I actually could see nothing. Well, I think I agree. We have some news coming from PUBG Mobile. The Clockwork Tin Soldier set is kind of like a regular Tin Soldier, with a soft spot for denim, enviable accessories and a way cooler weapon. So if you're interested, the video of that wonderful outfit is on my Twitter, and you can see it, and if you're interested you can buy it. If you want to be participating and helping the developer, you can always enter Battle Pass schemes, you can purchase some of the weapons, cosmetics, and you can do all kinds of things. Not my bag, so to speak. I prefer working on in-game currency and getting everything in due course. So we are coming towards the end of our time for the news bulletin, and I'll just have a look once more if there's anything else. Yeah, there's another bit of news on Modern Warfare, and we already heard about the earnings, but I think there's a discrepancy. They talked about making 3 billion last year, but that might have been just in the pure turnover on Modern Warfare and everything related, but now we've heard that they made 2 billion profit, so it means that 1 billion went into all the costs, or anything else which would have been seen as a necessity for that game to be fully operational and for the sales to be processed. I'm just trying to get the information, but it's not coming fast enough for some reason. Don't know why. Curious to see what they said Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Warzone earned nearly £2 billion in 2020, as reported by Games Radar. I do apologize, the information does not want to pop up, and I think we probably will have to leave it. We've heard about Shadow of Mordor's server closure, and this has been delayed until mid-January, and according to Monolith there's a chance that online achievements may still unlock after the closure. So let me see what that is. Back in November, Warner Bros. Games announced that servers for Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor and Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor Game of the Year would close, impacting some of the game's online functionality and achievements. The Server closure has now been delayed until mid-January, and Monolith says there is a chance that all online achievements previously thought to be discontinued may still be unlockable after the server shutdown. Well, that is something that everybody is going to be hating. Over in the Monolith Discord, a developer but a user of Monolith Mark said to all achievement hunters, the server shutdown was pushed out to mid-January. I don't have any more information at the moment, in case you were wondering. And yes, I'm still very optimistic, but not 100% certain, until verified, that the online achievements discussed earlier will still be achievable. So I guess we need to wait and see. We need to find out what the score is. We have another friend in here, Nessface, and she has a very good video. She is introducing her stream in Wraith costume, so you need to have a look at that. I quite like her streams as well. I recommend Nessface to everyone, and we'll polish it off. I think, well, we have actually two bits of news still to read. One is related to Ragnarok, God of War Ragnarok, and David Jaffe has said zero knowledge on cross-gen God of War Ragnarok. So the eternal question, will Sony release God of War Ragnarok on the PlayStation 4 as well as PlayStation 5? Well, nobody knows this yet, and this is just a speculation because Sony officially had not clarified it yet. And so let's see what David Jaffe had said. I'm sure the next God of War will be PS4 and PS5. He said, clearly sharing an opinion. Of course it will. I mean, PlayStation boss Jim Ryan has pretty much said as much. Jaffe is referring to various interviews with a Sony bigwig, where he stressed the importance of the company's last-gen console. Late last year, he also dropped the big fat no comment when asked specifically about Ragnarok availability. Well, we don't know anything about it. It's just a speculation. I wish people would spend time plodding over this. And I managed to get the information on Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Warzone are 2020's top earning games. Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Warzone combined to take the position of the highest earning game of 2020, which is obviously no surprise. And it wasn't even close. Over the last week, research firm Superdata published a free report studying the revenue figures for the top 10 games over the whole year. Superdata report reveals Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Call of Duty Warzone were combined into one product, resulting in the single product itself earning about $1,913,000,000 over the course of 2020, just a touchy shy of $2 billion in total. So we mentioned previously, and this is on Games Radar, this puts Modern Warfare and Warzone as the top earning game in 2020 by a huge margin. Taking second position is FIFA 20 with just over 1 billion, and sitting in position number 3, none other than GTA 5 is 900 million. So two other 2K release sports games took 4th and 5th spots, NBA 2K21, NBA 2K20, and these were launching in September 2020, and they made about 889 million and 771. It's incredible. Think about it. These are games. 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion, 900 million. I mean, it's bypassing the overall earnings of television and film industries. It's just all about interactivity, easy access, easy purchases, you know. And I've got to say, I thought to myself the other day, I watched some films on Netflix and Amazon Prime, and I have a fantastic setup in here with Sony Bravia TV and top-notch headphones and everything. So the experience of those films is phenomenal. And in fact, I watched a couple of films that I also did see in Cineworld, multiplex chain in Britain, and I enjoyed them a lot better when watched on my setup. And the reason for that is simple. You know, I had peace and quiet. First of all, I was able to focus entirely on the film, and there were no chores of traveling to cinema. And then sometimes in cinemas you get problems with picture and sound, and you got to be reporting it, and you know, all the other things which frequently are interfering with the overall experience of a film. And that all has been completely extracted. And I've got to say, the picture quality on Netflix and Amazon Prime Videos is incredible. You know, if you got subscriptions to Ultra HD, this is just truly mouth-watering. and I watched a couple of Soderbergh's films, Logan Lucky and Laundromat. And Logan Lucky, in fact, I watched in cinema as well a few years back, and it looked a lot better on my home setup. Picture quality was second to none, and it was just much superior. So that's also one of the reasons, one of the explanations. It's the ease of use, ease of access, downloadability, and most importantly, interactability. The quantity of interactions that you get on video games is just really mind-boggling, and that is the next stage in line of very many means of communication tools that we've been given over the decades. And I think it's a next big thing, really, having your cams on and your comms on as you're doing your video games and being able to connect with everyone worldwide. It's a bit like previously, when we were children, we'd play sports. We'd do football, basketball, I don't know, handball, anything that you could do, cricket, rugby, and you were always kind of squadding up and creating new friendships with those people who are sharing the same interest. It's exactly the same thing, just on a much greater global scale. So we could see the reason for Call of Duty and all the sports games earning as much money is exclusively connected to that drive. Our drive, first of all, to meet other people, and then secondly, to communicate. And all of that you can get easily now, even on your Android phone. And it will be just massively enhanced every single day as we carry on. And as I said many times here, xCloud is the next big thing. I'm very excited about all I've seen so far, tested it, prepared it for its launch a few months ago, and also I'm using it every single day on my Android when checking out, for instance, some of the new games added to Xbox Game Pass. And also what's delightful is that you can play Gears of War 5 now on your mobile phone, obviously if you prefer that platform, and you do not need your controller. You've got your online controls which pop up on your screen, so that's terrific. I did say yesterday, as I played Hellblade a bit on my Sony Xperia 5 II, it did sound better than on my home setup, and the reason for that is on my Sony Xperia 5 II I get Dolby Atmos sound, and with high quality headphones that sound is really atmospheric, and it's really the best possible. So you really can feel all of the protagonist's fears as you're entering the game and enjoying the campaign. So most highly recommended. So we've come to the end. Thank you for watching my daily news bulletin. We talked about everything that's happened in our industry. We had quite a few news coming on the wires from various ends, and today I've not talked much about our community members and the messages that I received. We sort of turn it around a bit, so on balance at the end of the week we'll have 50-50 on everything. If there is one thing I need to say, first of all, is I want to thank all the participants who were sending us the feedback. The vast majority was not really connected to the news or some of the games that we recently streamed here. It was all to do with how to become a streamer, and I think the reason people have asked these questions is that we did have some discussions live online during my Warzone streams recently, as there were quite a few junior gamers popping in through randoms and asking questions about this. So that triggered off, I guess, curiosity amongst youngsters if they were to be setting up and they wanted to talk to an older, mature gamer who already has been doing that for quite a while, or a professional broadcaster as it goes, to get the best tips. So if you're interested on how to set it up, just do go back to my news bulletins from Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday earlier this week, basically the last 3 days, and we spent more than 60% of our bulletin on those tips and thoughts and views on how to really run, well, first of all, how to conceive a channel, how to build it, how to run it, how to maintain your community, and everything else. We carry on with these discussions as we push on, but today, as we'd had quite a few bits of news coming on the wires, we spent more time really looking at what's happening in the industry than all of those issues arising from our community. So as I said, we've come to the end for today, so thank you for watching and thank you for supporting the channel. Hope you enjoyed all the content. If you have any thoughts and views, just send us a message either here or by DM or any other social networking platform. I'd be very glad to respond, and the messages will be read out here on air during my broadcast. So thank you for that. We'll continue with DRBMiller introducing. Presently I'm introducing a wonderful indie game from France called Night Call. We played it already quite a bit during the last couple of days, and our adventures in Paris will continue very shortly. So stay with us and carry on with basically your viewing pleasure here of my broadcast. Hopefully you're enjoying this new edition, the new slot called DRBMiller Introducing, and I've created it in order to produce content that will draw attention to indie games and less well-known titles, and the games I particularly like or discovered on various platforms that I believe others should be discovering as well. So stay with us, we'll be back very, very shortly.